Hey, good morning everybody, welcome back to the shop. It is a Saturday morning. That would be, if my brain serves me correctly, would be April 8th. Alright, here's kind of what I did covertly, so you really didn't know what I was doing. I came in with the old landing gear. With it's bad a condition that it was. I decided to get out my little MAP gas torch and start taking it apart just to see if it was usable, repairable, or just make brand new landing gear. The chromoly steel tubing that I got from Gino at Taylorcraft Aviation, thanks Gino. It's actually a 60 thousandths, whereas this is 32 thousandths. So it's twice as heavy. So I'm gonna try to use as much of the original as possible. Anything that needs to be replaced will be replaced with the heavier stuff. I've got to make new brackets, new whatever you want to call them. It's mounting brackets, tubes. And I need to make sure that they're straight, because these weren't even straight. They were all cockeyed angles. So so I've got to come in. I've got to do a little bit of grinding. Were these really made correctly? It shouldn't be a 90-degree angle coming up across here. This should actually be angled a little bit like that. And I don't want to. I'm going to leave them the way that they are originally put together. So it's going to be, it's going to be close enough for what I'm looking for, without having to take the time to make brand new stuff. If I get this up and functional and it works good, I'm just going to I'll keep using this, because I mean it's most of it looked like it wasn't broken or damaged in an accident. There's one piece right here that you can kind of see. There is a little bit of a bend to it. I'm gonna go ahead and grind off the brass here for the brazing and see what I can do with straightening that out, because the rest of it is still in really nice shape. So I'm just gonna go. I'll heat it up and bend it to make it usable again, and then just go ahead and solder it back in, or solder or braze it. This solder joint, they did an excellent job on. So this one I'm not concerned about at all. This is the best brazing job of everything on it. So that's going to stay the way it is. The back side of this one is pretty decent. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'll let's just say scuff it up. Just to throw a little bit more in there, then clean it up. The back side of this one, the front side is good. The back side needs to be needs a little patch job, so that'll be patched. That'll be good. And then I'll put a piece across the top. It's not going to be across the top like this, but I'm going to put something in the tube, through the tube, so that when these are brazed back together again, it's going to be a straight shot through, so there won't be any binding in the. I mean, even though it's not going all the way through, you still have a hinge joint here, a hinge joint here. You want them to be true to each other. So that's what's going to happen with that, because I've got to get, before I mount the wing, I want to get the landing gear installed back in the plane. I don't really have to have it installed. I just need to have this rear mount. That's where the wing strut attaches to, is to the rear one. So that's going to be a little standoff coming up where this will attach up underneath the plane, and then it's going to stand proud to the sides of the plane by probably, I don't know, maybe a ½ inch at the most. And that's where the wing strut's going to attach into it. So so we shouldn't have an issue with that. If this wheel is going to end up being, a ¼ inch or a ½ inch farther forward, it's not going to affect the way the plane flies. What it's going to do is it's going to have less chance of a nose over when you come in for a landing, because it's going to set more weight on the tail for the balance point. So that'll be fine. That's I'll be happy with that. So anyway, what I'm going to do, I've got to set up some jigs. I've got to make some jigs, so I got to find some old pieces of plywood and start putting together a couple jigs, because I've got to have mounting jigs. So when I put this piece on the other one, it's going to match the same angle. So there'll be a jig up on the top here. This will sit down in another jig, be a connector on one side where I can come in with the torch and start heating and brazing this piece back in on the other side. Because the other side, that's the wrong piece. The other side, here it is. The other side was not a good braze joint. That was cracked. So this will have to all get cleaned up, and then just go ahead and I'll braze this together first. Once this is brazed back together again, then I'll come in, I'll clean up this joint where this piece is going to come back in, and then this will get brazed back up into it. But this one has to be at the same angle as this one. That's where that jig is going to come in. So that way I've got this angle coming down to this angle going out, and we're going to call that a done deal on that. And then all the rest of the stuff won't be too bad. I've got these angle brackets that go out to the mount, and this is where the bungee cords are going to wrap around to keep the gear from flexing. And I don't know which side this one goes on. It could be on this side. Yeah, it's going to be on this side. And this will come in a little bit farther down, because they had them kind of they had it brazed together in a really bad angle. But this will not, excuse me, I had that backwards. My bad. This will come in and be like this. So, and this will go to the back, but this needs to be at a 90-degree angle to this going across. So you can see the little problems I'm having with this one. So we're just going to keep rolling right along and get this one figured out and fixed, and just hope for the best of it. So I am still consider myself still a rookie. I mean, I have brazed in the past, not the best in the world, but I know what I'm doing. So this will be a learning experience for me and you. So anyway, let me get some jigs put together, and I'll bring you back in from time to time just to see where I'm progressing with this one, and we'll see how well I do. So see you soon. Alright, we're going to give this a shot. I'm going to do the first little braze repair. I'm going to get the camera a little bit closer. I'm going to try to talk you into what I'm using. And if I don't sound like I really know what I'm doing, I really don't know what I'm doing. I'm going by what I watch on YouTube, because we can learn a lot from watching YouTube. From the right instructors anyway. Alright, here's what we are going to do. I'm going to zoom you in on this when the time comes. This joint right here, and I'll zoom you in, I'll probably come in from a different angle. This joint is going to be the first thing that's going to be put together. I'm using flux coated bronze rod, so that's what the flux is. It's 3/32. So that's the flux on that. Now, the flux on this will burn off quickly. So what I did is I ended up getting some borax flux powder. It's usually just borax. So I'll be able to come in and dip this in and get some more flux on the tip. So when I go in, now what the flux does, and go ahead and insert your get the flux out of here jokes. That's fine. What it does, it seals oxygen out of it. It pretty much kind of removes it. It's almost like a glass surface it puts on, so that the metal itself won't oxidize when you go to braze it. So that way you know you're getting a really good bond. So it's kind of like soldering in a way, but at a higher temperature, because you're not welding something, you're just gluing something. So anyway, let me go ahead and I will fill you in. Anyway, hey, new t-shirt. Go ahead, figure it out. Let me know in the let me know what you think it says. Alright, back to work. So I'm going to put you on this side, and I don't know how it's going to work with brightness. It might be bright, it might not, but we're just going to find out. That's the way we do things here. Try to zoom it in a little bit and see if I can, because it's going to be bright. Okay. Sorry about the fudging. Alright. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to start heating the metal. And when the metal, you have to get it so it's hot. Brazing does not start, because what you're doing is you're getting the metal hot. You're not getting the brazing rod hot. So this is going to get hot, and then you're going to come in, and the heat from the metal is what's going to melt the bronze. So, so that's the way you have to do it. So let me get everything set up. Let's give it a shot. I'll do one side first. And for any of those of you who could have seen that, because of the heat, it clicked itself open a little bit. So I want to compress that. Yeah, to an extent it did. Alright, let's go. See it's starting to get red. Hopefully you can see it starting to get red on this side. That's getting red, but it's the metal on this inner piece. Hasn't reached temp yet. We're getting pretty damn close right about now. Not yet. Not yet. Alright. I didn't know how much it was going to take to get the metal up to temp to get the, and you probably not going to be able to see it through the video, but as soon as, it took a little bit before I got the brass to start flowing off the rod. And once I got that, then it seemed to set up okay. So this, let me back out. that is actually brazed together. Had a really nice flow into the metal. I'll flip it over. Oops, there we go. I'll flip it over. I'd like to have it focus on. There we go. I just can't touch it because that would burn me. Alright, that other side looked pretty good. You might be able to see fairly well from here where it actually flowed in. It actually flowed into this area here, which is good. That means it flowed into the joint, filled it up really well. So that should be a rock solid joint for years to come. So let's go ahead and get the other side cranked in. Alright, the inside flowed a little better than the outside, which is good. I'm still trying to learn here, peoples. I kind of would have liked to have maybe a little more flow in, but we're going to see what that looks like when it gets finished up. There's a couple little pieces. I had one little piece that popped off and fell in the crack here, but I can just grind that out later on because it's not really doing anything. It's actually got a dirty, hit some dirty metal, so it's just sitting there. It just kind of fell off the end. So anyway, let that harden up. I'll clean it and I'll give you a good close look at it. But it's going to take a little bit of time for all that heat to come out. So bring it back, take a look at it. In my time, about 20 minutes. Your time, 5 seconds. Alright, so far, welcome back. If you want to call it, welcome back. Alright, I have gotten better. It's the first one I brazed on. It's hiding around here somewhere. Oh, sorry about that. I'm gonna braze on it again. You'll see it. So anyway, what I did is I came in and had to rebraze this piece back in place. So as you can see, it looks pretty good. It hasn't been cleaned up yet, but it looks a lot better than I thought it was going to look. So I'll come in and dress this up with a file, so that way when it comes time to paint it, you won't even notice it. It'll actually have a nice little radius in there. So, all right, here comes the. I'll let you look at it. Let me point at it so I know that you're looking at it. All right, this is going to be a strange little animal for me to do because I want to get this camera right, because once I fire up that'll work. All right, what I'm going to do, I got enough gas left. I'm going to come in, I've got this properly angled on a piece of wood. You know what's going to happen with high heat and wood, so it's going to get really smoky in here. All I need to do is be able to get enough heat to at least have one glue point on it. Glue point? Sure. Because technically it's a high strength metal glue. So just as long as I can get some bronze down inside here on either side of it to lock it in, because then I could jump to the other side and when I take it off the bracket and get the other side brazed, then flip it around, braze the other side. Because the beautiful part about this is it requires such a high amount of heat that if I say that I'm going to put my first braze on this side, I can come in and I can touch off here and get it brazed in. If I take it out and start working on this side of it over here, it's not going to get this side hot enough because it's blocking the flame. It won't get this side hot enough to melt it. So that's kind of, I guess you want to call it, the beauty of brazing. That once you get it tacked in place, it's easy enough just to tweak it to get it to a direction that you want to have it in before you. So I'm just rotating this before you can get it in a proper position before you braze the other side. So all right, let's go ahead and I'm trying to get this in a point where you'll be able to see it good enough, but I'll be able to work on it good enough and not burn up my little vice eye. All right, let's try this. I'm going to come straight in. There is a crack in the metal right here. Let's see if I can get you in a little bit better over here. The reason why I'm pointing is I want to make sure that you're going to be able to see it, because I can't see through it all. Anyway, there is a little crack right here in this piece. As soon as I braze it, it's going to hold those pieces together. So cross your fingers, cross your toes, wish me luck. Burning everything, even burning my little clamp. Now when this gets hot enough, it goes from being where it feels like you're scraping metal on metal to where it feels really mushy. And that's right there. Now you know it's starting to melt. I got the heat. Everything's on fire. And this stuff will, you can see it looks gold. It's made of gold, man. What this stuff will do is as soon as I take the heat off of it, it pretty much sets right away. So right now, I could take this burning clamp. You can see the clamp did not enjoy that at all. And if you had smell-o-vision, you'd know what I'm smelling. Alright, so that side, it's not brazed all the way around, but I've got a good point to start with. It didn't melt all the way here, but that's alright. I just had a little piece of the bronze brazing rod just snap off there. But back here it flowed out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to clean this side up. I'll start probably up in the front here, and I'll come around underneath and get this brazed in, and then I'll work my way down around the back side. Then I'll finish back up on this side again. That way I'm staying on the opposite side. But what I want to do is I've got a little template. I don't know if I'm going to burn it, but you're going to take a look. This is what I need to match that angle, and I'm going to get close just so you can hopefully see it. I'm really hoping you can see it because I can see it well. It's close. I just got to tweak it a little bit. So what I'll do, not touch it with my fingers, that's exactly what I'm going to do, and I should be able to flex that up just a little teeny bit. And there we go. That's good enough for government work. So, all right, yeah. So let me go ahead and I will set up the, because I know you love watching this stuff because I hate doing this. I'm going to just pretty much, I'll bring it back.